Alright, today I wanted to do a video on Fischer random chess. It's more commonly called Chess960 today. I wish they would have kept with Fischer random because he was the man who invented it. Obviously there were randomly placed pieces in chess before he came on the scene, but he put in place rules that made it work. The extra rules are the king must be in between the two rooks and the bishops must be on opposite colors. Now, the castling is the same as regular chess, even though the king and rooks can be in different places. They end up in their normal positions after castling. So after castling, they'll always either be on F and G or C and D. Now what I'm going to do is show you a simple way to set up a position. Now there are plenty of sites online that will generate a 960 position for you, but if you want to have transparency, or if you just don't have a computer with you or a tablet, you can use a six-sided die, and it's a transparent method and simple. All you do is you roll, and the first roll you're looking for something between a 1 and a 4. If you get a 5 or a 6, you re-roll because you're looking for the position of the first bishop, the dark square bishop. And by the way, this is called, I believe it's called Bodlanderd's BNQ method. And I apologize if I mispronounced his name, but you only have to roll for the bishop, knight, and queen, and I'll show you why you don't have to roll for the king and the two rooks later on. So I rolled, and it's a 2, which means I put the bishop in the second possible dark square. Now I'm going to roll again for the light squared bishop. Okay, and I got a 6, so I need to re-roll. I got a 5, so I need to re-roll. I got a 5 again. How unlucky. Okay, I got a 1, so I put it in the first possible white square. Now we're going to roll for the knight. Now, I won't have to re-roll on this because there are 6 possible positions for the first knight. The knights don't have to be on opposite colors. I got a 5 again. I'm getting a lot of 5s today, so I put the knight in the 5th possible position, and then I roll for the last knight. If I get a 6, I'll have to re-roll. And I got a 5 again, getting a lot of 5s. So, see, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Now we roll for the queen. That's a 3, so the queen goes in the 3rd possible position. And the king must always go in between the rooks, so you don't have to roll. Put the king in the middle, and then the 2 rooks. Then you set up the pawns, and the black will be a mirrored position. Oops, I want a black knight. And I want a black rook too. Okay, and one of the reasons Fischer invented this was because he felt chess was played out. A lot of Grandmaster games, you can get to move 40 before a novelty can be played, and especially at lower levels, club players, they can win games just because they're more booked up. You can be an inferior player and still win just because you had memorized more of the right book moves. And when you have 960 possible starting positions, memory plays no factor. There are things to look for, though. I have an excellent book with a horribly ugly cover called Play Stronger Chess by Examining Chess960 by Gene Milner. And here are the things that he recommends you look for in the opening. Are there any undefended rank 2 pawns? Because in 960, you can have those positions. Let me see. The pawn on the H pawn is undefended. The G pawn is undefended. Everything else is defended. Let me see. A pawn is defended. B's defended. C's defended. D and E, F. Yeah. So the G and H pawns are undefended. And they could possibly, the H pawn can be attacked quickly too after opening up the B, the B8 bishop from black. So that's one thing to look at. Another thing is that he recommends, are there any undefended rank 4 squares? So let's have a look at that. A4 is defended. B4 can be defended by the queen. Not immediately, but can be defended. C4, that's undefended. D4, that's let's see, D4, that's not defended. E4 defended, obviously. F4, G4, that's undefended, and H4 that can be defended, not immediately, but can be defended by the queen. Another thing to look for is corner piece mobilization. Now, a lot of times, if you have bishops in the corners, like if you have a bishop in A1 and then a bishop in H1, those are easily developed. You just do B3 and G3, classic fianchetto positions. Knights in the corner can tend to be sometimes a little bad, and in some games that were gone over in the book, he points out in some cases when you had corner knights like that, they weren't moved until well into the middle game, because in 960 a lot of the times bishops are a lot more important than knights, especially when the knight's in a corner. King fort is another thing. When should you castle, and the best side to do it? A lot of times, let's say if you have two bishops on A1 or and B1 or A8 or B8, you wouldn't want to castle into a position that's being attacked on the opposite diagonal by bishops. And then conversely, on your side, if you've got those two bishops there, you wouldn't want to castle on that side either, because you have to move pawns out to activate your bishops. So in those situations where you have two bishops right next to each other on one corner of the board, a lot of the time it's best not to castle. Another thing is their knight opposition. In normal chess, there's maximum knight opposition, which means you can't just march a knight down the board and, for an attack without it being subject to an exchange with another knight by force. Now, in 960, that's not always the case. And the rule is, if you have knights on the same color, there's no opposition. Now, these knights are on different colors, so there can be varying degrees of opposition, either no opposition, semi-opposition, or maximum. And there's actually a table in the book that shows you what kind of opposition there is. But when there's no opposition, or sometimes limited opposition, you can do kind of weird night marches that wouldn't work well in normal chess, and you can a lot of times those are the best moves to make. And the last thing, should you go with a hypermodern or central pawn advance? Like I said, if you got corner bishops a lot, the hyper modern way is the way to go. This position, I'm just looking at it now. I'd have to look at it longer, but nothing. It doesn't hit me strongly as a hyper modern or a central. If I looked at it more, I would probably be able to come to a decision, and you would too. But that's something to look at. That's it as far as how to set up the board and what to look into in the opening. I'll be playing some Fischer random or Chess960, whatever you want to call it. I'll be playing some correspondence games of that, and I'll post those when I get them done. I'm playing a normal chess, a 2-game match at the moment, so I want to wait until at least one of those games are done before I start on the Fischer random, because I don't like to play too many games at once. But so might be a while before I come with another video on Chess960, at least the game that I've played. But in between then and now, I'll try to do videos on other things, or other 960 videos, or Fischer random videos of other people's games. Yeah, sorry it's been such a long time since I did my last video. I'll try not to make it so long before I make the next one. And comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks.